back with another edition of Draft Blast, where we go back in history and review past Detroit Lions draft. And we closer to football, but it's another football-less Sunday. I'm here to kind of fill that void a little bit. We're getting closer to training camp. I think it opens fully July 26th for the Detroit Lions and July 19th for the rookies. Getting closer to the high school kids out there hitting, get ready to start their season. We're getting closer to college. You know, they're getting ready to go back to practice and start their season. And can't wait till the fall. It's the best time to be an American sports fan, as we all know. But it's Motor City Sports Talk. It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. We back. Draft Blast 2015. Martin Mayhew's last draft as the Detroit Lions general manager. Tom LeWine as well. He handles the contract. Mayhew handled the personnel. And in the first round, they took Laken Tomlinson, which he was recently traded this past season. He was a guard out of Duke. Don't see too many Dukies get drafted. You know what I'm saying? They good basketball school, but they not a football school. You know what I mean? And yeah, I didn't understand that draft pick. I know they need offensive line help, and people that say Lions, you know, they need offensive line. They've been drafting offensive line for years, man. From Riley Reeve to Lincoln to Graham Glasgow to Travis Swanson. They spent a lot of high draft picks on linemen, and their evaluations usually sucked on linemen. You know, and Laken Tomlinson, you know, like I said, it wasn't, you know, anybody else in the first round behind him because the Lions drafted late in that draft. Because I think they traded back. There wasn't nobody really of note that got drafted in the first round. But obviously the golden goose was Landon Collins, who was seen to be one of the best safeties in the game. And he won the first pick in the second round. The Lions, that was the glaring miss they should have got was Landon Collins. He's a safety for New York Giants. Now he's one of the better safeties of the league before the Giants you know, tripped up this offseason. But Laken Tomlinson just sucked as a guard. He sucked as a football player. I know he got traded to San Francisco. I'm pretty sure he sucked there. And terrible draft pick, man. Terrible draft pick, man. Second round, they took Amir Abdullah. The glaring misses that I found just looking through it was Tevin Coleman. You know, he won the next round. That was one of the glaring misses I seen, man, that I noticed. Because after Laken Tomlinson, and between Lincoln and Amir Abdullah pick, there's a lot of receivers that went. Dorial Green-Beckham, Devin Funchess. You had Jalen, the kid from LSU. It was I can't remember his name. He was a cornerback. Ronald Darby went. I think after Amir Abdullah, he went after Amir Abdullah. He's a little nice little corner for Philly now. So it wasn't a lot of glaring misses, but after Abdullah, you know, they missed Tevin Coleman, they missed David Green, and I know the Cardinals was going to draft Amir Abdullah, and the Lions drafted him right before him. They drafted the Lions drafted Abdullah before the Cardinals can get him. And in the third or fourth round, they end up getting, I think it was the third round, they end up getting, or the fourth round, David Johnson. And he's one of the better receiving backs and better running backs in the league right now. And that's what the Lions was kind of looking with Amir Abdullah. That was another major miss. You know, right now he still was a team, but like people say, oh, the Lions didn't block and this and that. We'll see with the new coaching staff what he brings to the table, if they give him better blocking. But it wasn't, I mean, it was some misses there. And on the misses, some guys know Tevin Coleman went a little bit later in the next round, and a couple guys. But Abdullah was a talented back. You know, just wasn't a fit for the Lions. And the Lions have a bad history of picking running backs, you know, in the draft. Maybe Mikael Ashore. Kevin Jones looked good at one point till he got injured. Kevin Smith was all right at one point till he got injured. I mean, you know, Java Best, he got injured. It was just an injury bug for any Lions running back that got picked at any point that was supposed to be relevant or do something in the draft. So that's another miss. Alex Carter, who the Lions switched from cornerback to safety out of Stanford. He's with the Seattle Seahawks now. Like I said, I don't remember him doing anything positive. I'm sorry. You know, I don't remember him doing nothing positive for this team. You know, before his pick, it was some misses. It was some misses. I think David Johnson, Tevin Coleman, third. Between him and Abdullah, but after, I'm not sure. You know, it probably was some misses, but, you know, they had moved him to safety and it didn't work out. I think Seattle might have moved him back to corner. But like I said, you know, I really never seen him make an impact on the field. I mean, Martin Mayhew was a defensive back, you know. He was a defensive back, but his evaluation of defensive backs, he sucked at it. You know, he had way more misses on cornerbacks from Bill Bentley. I mean, to Alex Carter. He missed a bunch. I mean, even in bringing guys like Aaron Berry, and bringing in different cornerbacks on free agency and bringing them in, he had no emphasis on premier cornerbacks. You know, he put no emphasis on cornerbacks. He put more emphasis on the offensive line and even receivers. You know, Titus Young and Ryan Broyles. He put more emphasis on that position than any. But to the fourth round, Gabe Wright out of Auburn. Shout out to Columbus, Georgia. You know, he's from Carver. I got a couple homies that went to Carver, I believe, down there. You know, he never really materialized at all. I don't remember him making an impact on the team as well. I know they had a lot of hope for him that he would develop, but he didn't develop. Out of Auburn, he's with I can't remember who he's with, but he's on the roster right now. He's with the Miami Dolphins. Yep. Yeah, he must be on the practice squad on the bench because he ain't getting no stats. I looked at the stats, like 12 tackles or something. So, but that's who he's with. As well. Then, you know, the fifth round we took Michael Burton on the fullback. He's with the Chicago Bears now. I seen him last training camp or something, one of them training camps. He looked good out the backfield catching the ball. Man, I don't understand why he didn't stick with the Lions. I mean, maybe he couldn't block, or maybe it was just, you know, something missing. He was out of Rutgers, man. You know, he was out of Rutgers, but I liked him, man. I was seeing him come out the backfield, catch some balls. I think last training camp, he looked smooth in his route running. His hands looked real crisp, but maybe he couldn't block. So, obviously, they drafted another fullback, Nick Baldwin, former quarterback out of San Diego State. He got injured. I'm not sure if he's done for the season or not. I just never heard a full story get released on that, you know. In the sixth round, they took Quadre Diggs, the most successful pick in this draft up to date. Up until last year, most people would have considered him a bust. This draft would have been a complete failure. But Quadre Diggs balled out last year. He balled out in the nickel. You know, people say, I like him better as a safety. Me too, but he was playing in the nickel. He was defending the nickel good, man. And he found his niche at safety. He was from Texas. He was a sixth-round draft pick. You know, he was one of the better sixth-round draft picks that we ever picked. In recent memory, I believe Willie Young was a sixth or seventh-round draft pick. He produced for the Lions, you know, for multiple seasons. Went to Chicago, had a couple good seasons. I know they released him. But he made a lot of bonehead decisions here in Detroit, Willie Young. But Quadre Diggs is probably the most successful pick in this draft up to date. And then Corey Robinson, left tackle. He's still with the he's still with us. You know, I didn't know he still was with the Lions. You know what I'm saying? I know he was a utility tackle. You know, he was just plugging in, or utility offensive lineman. He was plugging in where he was needed, and he was doing real good where he was needed, man. You know, at one point. But I guess he's good enough to stick around. He's been with the team for 3 seasons now. If he stick through training camp, and he's one of those depth offensive linemen that you can plug in. They got experience, and he can hold the fort for a few weeks. But he ain't the guy that you want to see start. But this overall draft, terrible draft. Give me a grade on it. I don't want to give you guys a grade, but just know it's not so hot. But it was a terrible draft. I mean, only 3 guys still stick from this draft. And only one guy is probably going to be a starter, and that's Quadre Diggs. And this was only 3 years ago, you know. And it was a terrible draft. Terrible evaluations, terrible picks. Some mixed picks in there, you know what I'm saying? I already mentioned a few of them, but I'm pretty sure there are way more missed picks. But the best pick in this draft was a 6th rounder, you know what I'm saying? The biggest miss to me was drafting Lincoln Tomlinson over Landon Collins, who's seen to be a top 3 safety, you know what I'm saying? And also, you know, picking Amir Abdullah over Tevin Coleman, out of Indiana, and over David Johnson was another major miss. You know what I'm saying? But it's Motor City Sports Talk. Don't forget, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All that information is in the description as usual. And continue to subscribe and share the videos, man. Share them. You know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Most definitely appreciate it. All the shares and subscriptions and views on my monthly YouTube is going up. But it's Motor City Sports Talk. We out.